You're invited to a gathering tonight in the deepest woods. All are welcome. The spirits of the forest will meet you there. They're almost certain you'll return unharmed, but you'll be forever changed. Will you accept their invitation? If you've ever felt the magical pull of the forest at night, this painting is for you. As I live and work aboard a 36-foot narrowboat, most of my recent paintings have been on little 5x7 wooden panels, but I found a few of these 12x16-inch canvas panels packed away in storage, and I felt the urge to create something a little bit more detailed. If you just found me, by the way, welcome. My name's Jo Hards, and this is Spider Thread. The bluebells and violets are in full bloom here in Wales at the moment, casting a bluish haze over the forest floor. So I'm feeling inspired to paint a magical woodland scene in acrylics. I want to create the effect of pale ghostly figures against the backdrop of moonlit trees. So I start by playing around with light and shadow in blues, purples and greens. After working on the little 5x7 panels, this canvas feels like a huge playground. It's slightly daunting putting down the first brush strokes on a new canvas, but at this point I'm just setting the mood of the piece, so I'm not too worried about getting it right. I've never naturally been one of those artists who fills in one area neatly at a time in a very precise way. I like to start with a dark, moody background over the whole piece, and then build it up from there, adding highlights as I go. This is what I love about working in acrylics. There's so much freedom in this style of painting. This is a little bit challenging without an easel to work on. I was gifted a lovely old wooden tabletop easel, which is great for taking photos on, but unfortunately it's a bit too tall to fit here on my desk. So for now I'm managing by propping the canvas up on whatever objects I can find lying around. My aim here is to capture the feeling of stepping into a magical world, so I want to create depth with dark shadowy trees in the background, gradually opening out into more colourful moonlit branches in the foreground. I've always loved the kind of paintings that you can get lost in, with lots of little hidden details that emerge as you gaze into them. The longer you look, the more you see. When I was little, I spent hours studying the illustrations in my storybooks, picking out animals, plants and fairy tale creatures like they were hidden treasure. There was a series of books here in the UK, there might have been in other places too, but they had a tiny ladybird hidden somewhere on every page. I have really fond memories of turning each page, excited to find the next hidden ladybird. I want to lean into that kind of experience a bit with this painting, so rather than having one central focal point, I'm going to paint a few little ghostly fae-like characters peeking out from behind the trees like they're eager to meet you, but also a little bit nervous about being seen by the humans, which I can wholeheartedly relate to. The smell of the woodland is something that reminds me of my childhood and always makes me feel at home. I was down in the woods the other day and the smell of the bluebells was absolutely intoxicating. From the heady scent of spring flowers to the damp earth and the mushrooms of autumn and the fresh evergreens of winter, each season has its own kind of personality, both mysterious and comforting at the same time. That's what I love about living here in the Welsh countryside.
songs repeated. Baby, me and you alone. Pencil drawing phases of the moon. All through the stages, both becoming seen into.
I want to paint a little cloaked figure in the background there. I think they'd be busy preparing for the gathering, maybe sprinkling a little bit of magic on the forest floor. If you're enjoying this video, by the way, please don't forget to give it a like and let me know. You can also subscribe if you like, so you don't miss the next one.
In the heavens, a billion signals move. Call and answer, dozen pairs of 2 by 2. Slowly we take on.
I'm painting a ghost girl closer to the front, just appearing from behind the tree. I think she's going to be the bravest of the group, slowly coming forward and quietly beckoning you in. These could be the same ghosts I'm painting from the smaller paintings I did recently. If you'd like to see those, I'll put a link at the top of the screen so you can watch those next. I've tried to capture the haze of bluebells in the foreground with some violets in a deeper purple around the tree roots. I think there's some wood sorrel in there too, maybe some ramsons. Now all that's left to do is add my signature at the bottom, then once it's all dry I'll add a couple of coats of varnish. I think I'm going to go for a satin finish for this one to bring out those colours and the depth of the forest. So, would I accept the invitation of these little forest spirits? I'd be tempted right now. How about you? If you'd like to see more of these little forest dwelling ghosts, I'll leave another video here that I think you're going to enjoy, and I'll see you next time. Bye!